Welcome to the Aging Mastery Program on Exercise. My name is Jay Melnyk, and I'm an Associate Professor and Department Chairperson of the Physical Education and Human Performance Department at Central Connecticut State University. We know that exercise has many benefits for us, and even a small amount of exercise is helpful. And we also know that as we age, we tend to move a lot less. And it's estimated that only about 25% of older adults actually meet the minimum guidelines for physical activity. So it's really important, just from a health perspective, to find ways to incorporate movement into your day. They just recently updated the guidelines in 2018, and the guidelines are that we get 150 minutes a week of moderate exercise. Moderate means, on a scale of 1 to 10, around a 5 or 6, with 10 being the most intense. And at a 5 or 6, you should be able to hold a conversation while you're exercising. An exercise routine should be something that is planned and something that's organized. So there are different modes of exercise. We could talk about strength exercise and improving muscular strength. We could talk about endurance exercise and improving the functioning of your heart. We could talk about flexibility and doing exercise that improves how your body moves and the mobility of your joints. And we could also talk about balance exercise and improving your body's ability to balance and minimize your risk of falling. And then the last piece would probably be a type of mindfulness exercise, and just finding ways to calm your mind and reduce your stress. So aerobic exercise is any exercise that helps protect your heart health. So we want to do things that elevate our heart rate and maybe give us a little bit of a sweat, so that we can challenge our body's ability to be heart healthy. Examples would be things like going for a walk. Walking in a pool would reduce the challenge on your body and make it much easier. Other examples might be cycling, or if you were in a fitness facility, you could be sitting on a bicycle and pedaling with your feet. So strength training can be very important for older adults, primarily because we want to maintain some form of muscle mass on our bodies as we age, and we know we see a loss of muscle and strength with aging. So strength training guidelines for older adults are to perform 2 times per week some form of resistance exercise training in a weight room with resistance, or at home with bands. So we know as we age, we move less. And when we move less, we tend to lose flexibility, especially in our shoulders and low back and our hips. And so for flexibility exercises for older adults, there are many simple stretches you can do even while sitting in a chair. And the main guideline is to stretch most days of the week and to hold each stretch for about 1 minute. So for balance training, we're very generally concerned with older adults' fall risk. 1 in 4 or 1 in 3 older adults over the age of 65 will experience a fall at some point in their lifetime. And so we want the body to be able to recover from a trip or a fall. And so balance training could be something as simple as, while you're in the kitchen, going up on your toes or your feet. You could progress that to a single leg. You could use a wall for support or stability, and find different ways to progress your body through some simple balance training. Mindfulness is essentially calming your body, taking time to yourself to just close your eyes and focus on breathing. It could be done for periods of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes. And the idea is to just sit there and let your thoughts wander. And as your thoughts wander, you would bring your focus back to your breath or your breathing. What's great about mindfulness training is that it's been shown to reduce stress and calm our thoughts and allow us to minimize anxiety. One of the things that we do know is with exercise, it helps increase blood flow to the brain, which can have very positive effects on just cognitive function, thinking. We don't entirely know what exact mechanisms are at play there, but we do know that that's an important feature of exercise that can help in that realm. So when it comes to exercise guidelines for older adults, I think what's most important is finding something that you think you're going to be able to do consistently and enjoy. So the first thing I would recommend is just finding some way to move more as you age and not find yourself stuck in that chair all day or in front of the television. So whether that meant standing up during commercial breaks, walking around the house, or up and down a flight of stairs, whenever you've had the opportunity. The second thing I would recommend for an older adult that perhaps doesn't find themselves lacking in their movement or walking would be to strongly consider some form of resistance training, because we know we lose muscle mass as we age. Someone with limited mobility or someone perhaps restricted to a chair can absolutely do an exercise program. There are multiple different exercises you can do while seated, using equipment, using just your body. And so there are a lot of opportunities available, even if you're restricted to sitting. If you're considering starting a program and you know you're suffering from chronic conditions, whether that's related to diabetes or high blood pressure, or you know you have issues with your cholesterol, that might be a smart move to make a check-in with your doctor and just to let them know you're considering making a change in your routine. Thank you for joining us on this Aging Mastery program on physical activity or exercise. I hope you find ways to move well, be healthy, and move often. Thank you.